Don't knock it till you try it, right? One of life's simplest mottos. That is, of course, unless you find yourself devouring a census taker with some fava beans and Chianti. The great Hannibal Lecter, he always was known for his acquired taste in others, but this isn't about screaming lambs, Clarice Starling, or a 1991 horror film. No, not today. Today we talk about another cannibal. My name's Avery Marquez, and welcome back to this episode of First We Eat. Play the intro music! Goes by Alfred Packer. Close friends may know him as the Colorado Cannibal. Not the nickname I would have chosen for him, but nonetheless, a nickname. I mean, there's so many good ones. Alfredo, Big Al, the Pac-Man, all viable options for quality recognition. Like, really, what was he thinking? Anyway, it's 1874. 5 men are totally missing. Get this. Packer arises out of the San Juan Mountains, just having survived the toughest winter, only to meet civilization again, well-nourished and well-paid. Now, if you ask me, that's a little suspicious, but that's okay, it's not me. To better explain, let's start from the beginning. 21 men traveled to Breckenridge, Colorado with the hopes of striking loot, money, moolah. After 3 months of treacherous travel passes, they find themselves at the camp of the Ute Indians. Chief Ouray, a man of peace, is no stranger to the sight of white greedy men on his land. He welcomes them in and advises against the remaining travels. All I'm saying is if a Ute Indian chief leader tells you that you probably shouldn't go any further, me and you, we're staying right there. Not Alfred. Hungry to finish what he started, him and 5 others continued on. Now, what happened in between their departure and their spring arrival with the Los Pinos Indian Agency, we don't know. What we do know is the story he told upon his arrival. It went something along the lines of being abandoned in the San Juan Mountains by his companions. But the truth is, well, that part's a bit blurry too. But he does eventually confess to cannibalism. Now, let's get one thing straight. There isn't a law against cannibalism in the United States, and especially at this time, it was more of a taboo, a societal no-no, if you will. So, who's in the wrong? After confessing to cannibalism, he depicts several stories of the events that happened, all of which start differently but end the same. It goes along the lines of, as each man would die, the others would eat him. Ultimately, it ended up with Packer and one other man surviving. That man eventually tries to eat Packer, Packer shoots him, and has to eat his body to survive. Right? Or so it was told. Now, this is just one of 3 variations of the story. All I'm saying is that in the spring of '74, the remains of 5 bodies thawed and sprung up like daisies seeking revenge after being discovered from an artist by Harper's Weekly magazine. Naturally, Big Al is a prime suspect and goes through a series of sentencing. Bada bing, bada boom. At one point, he's charged with murder and sentenced to death by hanging. And then later, only 40 years of manslaughter. 8 years for each of the lives lost. Now here's where it gets interesting. The first female news reporter, Polly Pry, takes interest in Packer at the Cannon City Penitentiary. Convinced his actions were purely for survival purposes, she starts writing articles in the Denver Post questioning his sentencing. Ultimately, he receives early parole after 15 years of sentencing. Afterwards, he lived out his life in present-day Littleton, Colorado. Rumors suggest that he never ate meat again. Maybe he had bitten off more than he could chew. Who knows, really? My name's Avery Marquez, and thanks for watching First We Eat. Play the outro music!